Hello and welcome to the Glesgada podcast. Coming up this week.
You actually talk like Donald Trump, spouting constant shite.
So if I wanted to be president of America, I would...
You would need to suck the big corporate booby. If you want to be... you go, hello. We're no interested in being elected to anything. Well, I'm trying to be the treasurer doing the bowling club, but that's another thing. But I don't think I'm going to get a job because my fingers are in the till.
Where in this episode we're talking about everything Donald Trump. So are you fan of the Orangeman?
Well, if I was say I was a fan of the Orangeman, I mean, we're going to lose 50% of our audience. I mean, there's 50% of the audience like love me, and then the other 50%, well, hate you.
We only need 50% to be successful.
The Orangeman, Trump he's a phenomenon. He's amazing. He's probably going to win again. This is an election year, and I tell you, it's looking good for him. The big giant Oompa Loompa, the big giant elderly Oompa Loompa. He's completely tangled the American political system.
I don't think I would use the word amazing with Donald Trump, would you?
No, I don't think he's right amazing when he is who he is. I mean, I want to say, but what he's done, he's done amazing things. I mean, but there's reasons for that.
He's never really went away though, has he? He's always sort of been there in the background.
Well, of course he's always been. I mean, he blagged his way into the Home Alone movie, the second one where the Kevin McAllister stays in the Plaza Ballroom. According to the director, Chris Columbus, in order to get them to film in the Plaza, which they had to pay a fee to do that as well, Trump apparently, according to the director, Chris Columbus, had basically bullied his way into it to do a wee cameo in the Plaza Hotel. Did you see Home Alone 2?
I did.
Where he meets Trump and he says, "Excuse me, where's the lobby?" And Trump goes, "Is a lying there?" Now, according to the director, Chris Columbus, when audience screenings were done, they all cheered when they saw him.
I would do that.
I mean, that was in the 90s. That was made in the early 90s.
Aye, but to be fair, I think everybody would do that. Hollywood came to you and said, "Glesgada, we want to use your house."
Aye, so I would meet the visitor in my lobby and they would go, "Excuse me, Glesgada, where's the toilet?" I say, "You just out the door, out the back and bury your shite in the garden."
If you owned a hotel and somebody said...
If I owned a hotel, I mean, what would my hotel look like? Behave yourself. It'd not been decorated in 50 years, right?
An outside toilet.
Aye, one room with a bed in it, the rest all full of junk. No, I couldn't run a hotel. The idea of making somebody's bed and all that and feeding them in the morning, that would just annoy me.
See, I must have been the only kid that thought Home Alone was realistic, because you'd always leave me in the house.
Aye, the only difference being that I'd leave the doors open and I hope that you would get chipped by a burglar.
So, I mean, by all accounts, Trump is winning.
Politically, aye, but in terms of financially, I think he's using the same financial accounting as SNP.
You honestly think he's going to get back in?
The economy's knackered because everybody's been experiencing like cost of living and all that, and they're saying, "Whose fault's that?" And they're going, Biden. It's his fault. We want Trump back. This is working people and people of colour.
Aye.
I mean, you would never, and everybody, you would think, imagine a person who's a Trump voter. What would he look like? He would look like me. He'd look an old white guy. But I'm not hearing that. These aren't the old white people. These are young people of colour. They're Uber drivers and just normal workers, and they're going to be voting for Trump.
Any pub that you visited, I would suspect...
Well, I wasn't in the pub. I was out and about. Right. I was going to the outlets and all that, but they've not got the sort of gear I want. They've not got bonnets and cardigans. They've got Hawaiian shirts and all that. And, okay, fair enough, I bought a couple, but these were just normal people.
How can they get away with being so old, though?
Who else is there? If it's a straight choice between Trump or Biden, I mean, they're both as old as each other. I mean, that's your choice, it seems. Yeah. So it's going to be one or the other.
Yeah. But do you not look at that and sort of think... like,
well, I'm 30 years younger than him.
I know, and you still sit in the house doing nothing, but you could...
Well, they sit in the house doing nothing.
people are leading the country. You should have,
Ah, come on, behave yourself.
don't see. What about if you were American, right? Would you vote Trump or Biden?
It's not about who I would vote for, right? I think people are going to vote for Trump because they blame Biden for all the problems in America.
Yeah, because it's funny because Biden has come back and guess what he said was his biggest achievements?
What?
He's halved inflation and he's stopping people getting it in the country illegally.
But he
But
halved inflation, but it went up 4 times first.
can you imagine living in a country where the person in charge said that all what I've done is halved inflation and stopped immigration? It must be terrible.
The reason why Trump's so successful, right, is he's saying we're going to drain the swamp and all that, and he's saying all these politicians are corrupt. And the problem is, he's right. And this is why these politicians can't do anything about him, because every single one of them is compromised. They're all fucking bought and paid for. Not just there, but in this country, I know. In this country, we had one chance. When Jeremy Corbyn was the leader of the Labour Party, we had one chance to elect a politician, right, whose fingers weren't in the till. And if you say to anybody, would you like to elect somebody whose fingers aren't in the till, who's isn't bought and paid for? Oh aye. But when push came to shove, they never voted for him because the papers destroyed the guy.
Aye.
Right, because he's dangerous to the establishment.
But do you not think Corbyn just looks as if he's been like kicked through a British Heart Foundation shot?
Well, I think that's the problem with Corbyn in the media age. I mean, he looks like Steptoe's da. That's the problem. You're going to, I rode, I'm freezing. Right, I mean, he looked like Steptoe's da. And people are kind of voting for him. And they're going, I mean, Boris Johnson's no much better. He's a fat fucking maniac. And it's either Steptoe's da or Mr. Blobby. Right, don't look at the man. It was what he stood for. I don't believe he was an anti-Semite or a Czech spy or anything like that. I don't believe that. Now, the thing is, Trump is just the same as all these other politicians. They're corrupt. They're totally in it for themselves. Now, the American people are saying, some Democrats are saying, oh, we'll never vote for Trump because he's just in it for himself. I mean, it's what politician isn't he in it for himself? What politician do you know gets elected and doesn't he end up taking big money off big corporate interest and doing their bidding? So they're compromised, completely compromised. That's why they can't do anything about him.
But is he no allegedly the same as them though?
Of course he's the same as them. But that's the whole point. They're trying to say he's in it for himself and he's corrupt, but they're all corrupt. They're compromised. That's the whole point.
Aye, so why does somebody...
He's just more corrupt than they are. He's out-corrupted them.
Why do they not just get somebody that comes in and says, look, I'm no corrupt?
If you're the Coca-Cola company or the Disney Corporation or Chase Manhattan Bank, do you want a guy in charge of the political system who's not got your best interests? Do you think you're going to give a guy $1 billion in campaign funds and you're not going to get something on the back end? That's how it works. That's how the political system works. Big business bankrolls their campaigns, and then when they're elected, they do what they're told.
So if I wanted to be president of America, I would...
You would need to suck the big corporate booby. If you want to be, you go, hello, and swallow their load. If you want to be the president, that's what you need to do.
You need to get something that would hit home. So in the moment, I'd say, I promise not to delete my WhatsApp messages. That would maybe get you elected or something.
It doesn't matter. That's only an issue once you make an arse out on the back end. Then it comes back, then they do you in. If you're playing the game, you'll be fine.
Do you know, you actually dance like Donald Trump.
You actually talk like Donald Trump, spouting constant shite.
So what do you think of Biden then?
He's just another politician. They're just politicians. They're just there to run the country in the best interests of big business.
So you don't think he'll pull Trump's trousers down at the election?
I've got a feeling that Donald Trump will win this election this year. And the reason is because all your mob, all the woke mob, right? See, people will go, when you ask most people, they all go, I'm no voting for Trump, I'm no voting for Trump. And when they're polling, they're saying, I'm no voting for Trump. This is another thing. See, in the last 10 years, see when they do polls, the polls have been wildly off, more than they used to be, because people don't tell you about their intentions. Because what happens now is, suppose somebody says something that's maybe no very PC or no very woke, right? They're instantly attacked. They're no free to say things which aren't very fashionable now. So they go, fuckies. So I'll just do what I want. I'll tell you what you want to hear. And that's fucking super dangerous, because you're not getting a free flow of information when people say, oh, I'm not comfortable with what you're saying. What do you mean you're not comfortable with what you're saying? Well, don't fucking listen then. You know what I mean? I'm not comfortable. I don't feel safe. What do you mean you don't feel... If I got a fucking gun in my hand, oh, I don't feel safe. Oh, fuck off.
To be fair, in America, they probably have got a gun.
No, but the point is, that's not what they mean. But the point is, when you say, I don't feel safe, when somebody's saying things that they don't like to hear, well, fucking don't listen to it and walk out the room. I don't feel safe. What, you going to... Wait, what do you mean you don't feel safe? What, you going to end up getting injured or something? I mean, this whole thing, all this bullshit, people being triggered and people... It's a load of fucking shite.
That's not to do with being woke, though.
It's not anything to do with getting water. The point is, if somebody says something you don't like, either just challenge it or ignore it. But don't go like, I don't feel safe and all that, whatever. Just fucking challenge it or ignore it.
Well, that's what I've been doing for 40 years, ignoring it when I get abused.
Yeah, sticks and fucking stones. People say stuff, that's it. Just ignore it.
But
if you don't like what somebody's saying on the telly, if you don't like what's saying on this podcast, fucking ignore it. Watch something else. Go and watch the Fluffy Bunnies or something, then you'll feel safe. If you don't fucking like it, fuck off.
Talk about sticks and stones. The Rock might be entering the race.
Oh, fucking The Rock.
Aye.
And this is the problem now. We're going to have celebrity presidents. It used to be when somebody would be in political office, he would at least have some abilities, some things that he could bring to the job. Now we're getting... what's your qualification for the job? Teeth like Champion, the fucking Wonder Horse, and beautiful hair and a nice suit. But this is bullshit. You're talking about people that got to run the country in the best interest of the people. That's what Abraham Lincoln said in the Gettysburg Address, so that government for the people, by the people, should not perish from this earth, right? Fucking pish. Do you think the people run the government? No, big business runs the government.
Well, talking about business, if you are looking to sponsor the show, get in touch.
Oh, aye, absolutely. Yeah, if you want to sponsor the show, you just give us a bell.
That's right, Mr. Turnock's like that. Phone calls got that.
Aye, oh, absolutely. You see, but we're no interested in being elected to anything. Well, I'm trying to be the treasurer doing the bowling club, but that's another thing. But I don't think I'm going to get a job because my fingers are in the till. Now, listen to the message. Don't look at the man.
So, potentially, Trump might come back to Scotland then. He might visit Scotland again because...
Well, he's got things here, and he's got golf courses here.
Well, his golf course, and so this year...
Turnberry?
Aye.
I made a profit?
It made a profit for the first time in 10 years.
Is that right?
It's never made a profit. Do you know how much he paid for it?
I don't know. What?
$60 million.
Well, it's nice. A nice place you've been doing there. You've been doing it at Turnberry?
I would never go to anything that had Trump's name on it.
What do you mean you would never go to anything Trump? It's a golf course.
I would never touch anything Trump. Would no interested.
Fair
Unless
enough.
it was Bogrove.
I was doing there one day. I was in the bar. There was a whiskey for £3,500. And I said to the guy, $3,500 for a whiskey? That's shocking. He says, if sir looks closely, he will see that it's a double. Well, thank fuck for that. I don't know why it bumped.
Imagine that, you'd be like standing there with the glass for about 5 hours trying to get it out.
But that's millionaire. That's Bams, man, going, £3,500 for a whiskey. What was it like? I fucking was like a Johnny Walker Black Label. It was a whiskey.
So he's spending. So he's obviously just made he made £500,000 profit. He bought it for 60 million.
Aye.
Whatever he's spent on it since he got it, and he's now redesigning it as well because he wants it open to come back to Scotland.
I was talking to a guy. I don't play golf. They said that Trump has some talent as a golf course designer. I mean, I don't know what the fuck that means. It means he's good at designing golf courses. And this guy was a golfer and he knows golf stuff. So I didn't spend that much time with him, boring bastard.
I was going to say, I hope he's better than that combing his hair.
Does he think nobody knows? I mean, what's he doing? I mean, he's taking his arse hair and combing it out the front of his head or something.
Maybe that's why he's scratching his head if he's using his arse hair all the time.
Who knows? Maybe there's some tag nuts stuck in his comb over. I don't know.
He's not thinking what to do. He's just
But I don't want to get personal on
No.
the
Well,
president to be, because we might become big in America and we don't want to get indeed
Oh, we don't.
by the big orange blob.
Might get an invite to the White House.
We might get an invite to the White House. Well, I would go. You wouldn't go.
Why?
Well, you don't like him. You wouldn't even go to his golf course.
I'll go
You're
if-
hardly going to get into his house when he's there.
I'll go if I get in the White House. I'll make it. I'll
I
make
see straight away. Yeah. You're fucking sucking his belly in now. Yeah, Bob, you'll swing in anybody's branch.
I just think if he gets in, it's going to be a nightmare.
But he said something right. I mean, look at the state of the world right now. Right, wars with the Middle East is blowing up, Ukraine and Russia. Look at the state of the world. Right. He said when I was the president, I'd no wars, and that's actually factually correct.
That's because he was Kim Jong-un. He was getting in with him. And
What? Hey, wait a minute. Is it no maybe better if a guy's got a nuclear bomb? Is it no better to talk him down?
he's not getting a nuclear
Or do you
bomb.
go, I'll start Kim Jong-un's not got a nuclear bomb?
He gets a train to meetings.
What would you do with Kim Jong-un?
What, you mean with his
Would you go to
train?
town with him?
I'd make him change at my level. So-
Right, very
no,
good.
I just wouldn't engage with the guy.
So there's a guy firing missiles out of the country of your allies where there's American bases and you're going, I will just ignore the guy. That's no some fucking mad guy firing, putting our fireworks behind your house. That's annoying enough. This guy's firing ballistic missiles into the Pacific Ocean. Oh, we'll just ignore the guy. We'll kid on his no there.
See, I don't see any difference in putting a firework at your garden or shooting machine guns in Vegas. You're not going to take
You
out
don't
the
see any
world.
difference.
No.
I
Because
think you need to wake up
No.
and smell the bullshit.
if he fired something,
You need to wake up and smell the cordite, mate.
if he fired something and it was nuclear, then fair enough. But he's just firing. Well, I don't want to say firing blanks in your presence, but what I mean is he's firing blanks into countries. I mean, come on, you would get some.
No, hopefully you're trying to be funny.
No, just go for it. Like, show
You're
us.
just being a disingenuous walloper. Listen, there's a guy firing ballistic missiles with nuclear capability, and you don't see any difference with some fucking idiot out the back setting off fireworks.
Well, you want some proof, don't you? How do you keep saying I've got this, I've got that? I was like, well, show us then.
They've detected nuclear explosions on the Korean Peninsula. They've detected these explosions.
They've detected he's firing rockets, but they don't know what's inside the rocket, do they?
No, they know there's no nuclear, but the guy's got nuclear capability.
I don't believe it.
Oh, your fucking head's up your arse.
So you could.
You don't believe North Korea's got nuclear weapons? You don't believe that?
No,
Oh, you're in fucking cuckoo land, mate.
Just 'cause
you are in cuckoo land.
no. Just because a circus has got a clown in the cannon doesn't mean.
Oh, man. Man. You're a fucking rocket.
Well, you've said that for many
You're a
times.
fucking rocket. Jesus.
I just think it's all this, that, like the Iraq war and weapons of mass destruction, and Korea's got nuclear missiles. It's like, well, give some proof, man. Do you know what I mean? It's like
You're
somebody's.
no comparing like we like. You're no comparing like we like. Aye, true though. All that back in the day, Bush and Cheney and Iraq never had a super gun or weapons of mass destruction.
Genuinely though, I want to see proof it's happened. Like, for instance, like, do you know how that guy? Did you
I can
ever?
just see the UN. Hello, the UN ambassador. Yeah, we're going to go to war, but actually, we're going to get some proof to Glasgow and his boy right now before we do anything. Once they're satisfied, then it's all right.
Well, I would.
Fuck.
See that guy in like RoboCop when he falls in the acid and he melts?
That's right.
Like, see if I saw anything like that after he'd fired a rocket, then I'd be thinking we need to take this guy seriously.
Yeah, like it's going to be a bit too late then, isn't it?
Well, no, if it's only one guy.
You're melting and you're going, actually, I believe it now.
How long's he been how long do you test for?
What test?
He's been testing missiles. Well, he's been testing them for about 40 years.
It's not really a test, though, is it? It's just know what's happening. He's going, look, I've got missiles.
See that parade?
What parade?
See the parade he does?
Oh, aye.
Aye, with the missiles. I just think that's like their gala day, and it's all made of cardboard.
Yeah, that's the gala day. Aye. Aye. It's a bit bigger than your normal gala day, but that's what it is.
Like, basically, the missiles afloat, so there's nothing in it. It's just paper mache.
That's possible.
Do you think at night they go and have a go in the waltzers? But I think it's scary. It looks scary, the gala day with all the missiles. But if you've been to the gala day in Bathgate, that's scary.
I'll tell you a scary gala day. Preston Pans. That's scary.
And people look at the photographs and the images, feast parades, and there's loads of mirrors.
Is there?
Aye.
What do you mean mirrors?
Well, it looks as if there's a lot more soldiers there than there is.
Mirrors?
Aye, look, it's all
so there's
edited.
People...
So it's edited.
They're standing with mirrors. So it looks like twice as many troops.
Like the haunted house mirrors. Like, what I mean is they've edited it so that there's probably only like 100 troops, but when you look at it, you think, geez, that guy.
I think you should go and get elected. I think you're as delusional as these fuckers.
I think I'd be good in politics.
I think you'd be amazing. Because you're mental.
I'm not corrupt.
Oh, not at all. Once you see what's available, you'll be right in the till, man.
Do you think I would be good at US president?
Oh, well, you need to be born in America. You need to be born in the United States. That's one of the rules.
Oh, really?
Yeah. You need to be born there, because they were talking about Arnold Schwarzenegger when he was the governor of California running for the presidency, but he was barred because he was not born in the United States.
I think we're definitely going to get to the stage where, as you said, the only time I'll ever agree with you is we will get celebrities running countries. That's all
Well,
have.
we've already seen it in Ukraine. Zelensky was a TV comedian, wasn't he? And it's so that's the way the political process is going. You've got to look good on TV. You've got to look great, hair, makeup, teeth, suit. You know, you can't be seen with even a disposable coffee cup or anything. It's all about the optics.
Like you with your Sports Direct mug.
In fact, that's perfect recycling.
Don't show it. I'm not giving him any exposure.
Who? Mike Ashley?
Ashley, he's another one.
Mike Ashley. Now, he owned Newcastle, and they all said they didn't like him. He had some issues. So they went and sold it to Saudi Arabia. But obviously Mike Ashley's worse than Saudi Arabia. I mean, Mike Ashley's human rights record is horrendous, so we better get Saudi Arabia in. Better human rights record than Mike Ashley. Right.
So,
but as long as the team are winning, who cares?
Well,
that's the problem now. People are absolutely prepared to put up with any bullshit as long as they're all right. There's no notion of collective or the people. Here's the thing, right? Scotland had the chance to become an independent country in 2014, right? And we never managed to get there. Now, there's reasons or whatever for that, right? We never managed to get there. They said the oil was drying up. Suddenly, 10 years later, there's massive oil fields off Shetland. They say there was none, now there's plenty. I wonder where that came from. Propaganda, right? The NHS and everything has been underfunded by central government. All public services are a mess. They've mismanaged the country. I think normal people, ordinary people, have still got a bit of a chance to basically vote in the government that they want, but they won't do it. They're too scared. They drink the Kool-Aid, they swallow the propaganda, and they vote for parties that don't have their own best interests.
Well, let us know in the comments what you think. If you think it's going to be Trump or Biden, or if you're a fan of either, or what your solution
Here's an interesting thing what might happen. Right? Joe Biden, at his age, he might pass away while he's president. And then Kamala Harris becomes president. She's a woman of colour. And the American voters are never voting for a woman of colour. They're already got issues with racism and definitely got issues with misogyny. That's an interesting thing. And then Trump, he's getting the Republican nomination. There's no question about that. The Republican Party, as he's get the nomination, he's the only guy they're going to put in.
So does Biden automatically get the Democrat?
More or less, aye, but there's people standing against him. But he pretty much has got a clear run at it.
So it's the end of this year, isn't it?
The election's in November 2024.
And that's when and then they'll start in the following year.
They get sworn in 20th of January 2025.
You see, Trump, he started a social media site which is ironically called Truth.
Well, it's the truth as he sees it, but, you know, the world's full of opposites. I mean, you never had any pals and you always used to watch Friends.
Oh, just while I remember, we've got tickets for the Glasgow Comedy Festival and you can see us IRL.
What does that mean?
In real life.
So you're using abbreviations now? YUT, you useless twat.
As I say, you can see us at the Comedy Festival. You can see me and this BFB.
What's BFB?
Big fat bastard.
I'll BFB you, about your fucking buzz. I'll stick my boot so far up your onion you'll be flossing your teeth with my toenails.
So we've got a voice note for our listener.
Hi Glasgow, it's Karen here. Listen, my husband is always watching you on TikTok and I'm fed up of it, so how do I get him back?
Hi Glasgow, I've been sitting here rubbing my twat for 25 minutes watching you. How'd you get him back? Well, soon you'll get him back because you've won 2 free tickets to come and see us at the Comedy Festival.
We've actually got a celebrity caller this week as well, so let's see who it is.
Hi, Glasgow Da. I got your number off your podcast.
Who's this?
It's Jordan Young from Scott Squad. PC Jack McLaren.
PC McLaren? Oh, son, I don't talk to the police. I'm no a grass. Fuck off. Thanks to Jordan Young. I mean, what a legend.
You can contact Glasgow Da on a voice note, on a voicemail via the following number 07386 891 812. That's 07386 891 812. So leave a voice note or a voicemail. And that's all for this week. And we'll be back next week for another great episode. Please do subscribe to us on our YouTube channel. And you can also find out more information about the show at glasgowda.com or click this bio link in any of our social media accounts. Also, please, it would be amazing if you could leave us a cheeky 5-star review if you enjoyed the show. And that's all from me. If you enjoyed us, join us for the next episode, and if you didn't,
fuck off. If you do all that social media pish, you know, we're on TikTok, Facebook and Instaboys or something. Here's one for last week. Is that my pen you're using? I'll ram that up your onion so far it'll autograph your colon. Fucking thief.